Chapter 1 Journey to Istanbul. It's early morning on a sunny spring day in April. Heathrow Airport, London is busy as usual. Hundreds of people are arriving, leaving, or waiting for planes. In the departure lounge of Terminal 1, a man is sitting reading a newspaper. He doesn't like airports. There are too many people and he's always nervous when he flies. He looks at his watch impatiently. Then he hears the announcement over the loudspeakers. British Airways announced the departure of flight BE570 for Istanbul. Will passengers please proceed to gate 16 for boarding? Tom Smith picks up his suitcase and walks towards gate 16. 20 minutes later, the plane is preparing to leave. It moves slowly across the airport to runway number 2. Tom is sitting looking out of the window. The plane suddenly moves forward, races down the runway, and rises into the air. Tom looks down at the houses and roads far below and smiles. London is behind him. Now he is on his way to Istanbul. Tom relaxed and took a letter from his pocket. My dear Tom, thank you for your letter. I'm so happy that you can come and visit me for a holiday. Life here in Istanbul is very interesting. I'm enjoying my work, but I miss you very much. It will be wonderful to see you again. I'm sure we'll have a very nice holiday. Spring is here and the weather is beautiful. I have to work on Monday, the 14th of April, the day you arrive. So I can't come to the airport to meet you, but you can take a taxi from the air terminal to Taksim Square. That's in the center of the new part of the city. There is a big hotel called the Park Hotel near the square. I'll meet you there at 5 o'clock. We'll meet in the American bar. The view over the city is beautiful. I can't wait to see you again, Tom. I've so much to tell you. So remember the Park Hotel, Taksim Square, 5 o'clock. See you on the 14th of April. Love, Angela. Tom sat for a moment looking at his fiancée's letter. Then he put it in his pocket. He looked down at the green fields of France as the plane continued its journey across Europe. Have you been to Istanbul before? Said a voice. It was the young man in the next seat. No, I haven't, said Tom. Have you? The man smiled. My home is in Istanbul. I'm studying in London at the moment. I'm going home for a holiday. Really? Said Tom. Where are you studying? At London University. The two men sat talking as the stewardesses began serving lunch. The young man told him his name was Kemal. His parents had a shop in Istanbul. Are you meeting someone in Istanbul? Kemal asked. My fiancée, said Tom. She's working in Istanbul. Oh, that's interesting. How long has she been there? She went to Istanbul 2 months ago. She works for a small company which is starting to export to England. She's making all the arrangements. Exporting always seems so difficult, said Kemal. It seems difficult, Tom agreed. But that's Angela's job. She's an expert in importing and exporting. Her father has an import-export agency in London, and she's worked for him for some years. She's almost completed her work in Istanbul now. The company has already started to send goods to England. She'll be coming back to London soon. What kind of goods do they export? Asked Kemal. All kinds of things. Brass ornaments, coffee pots, trace leather, or onyx articles. Angela's father thinks these goods will sell very well in England. That's interesting, said Kemal. My parents sell things like that in their shop in Istanbul. The two men went on walking as the plane flew over Italy and Greece towards Turkey. Soon they were descending to Yeşilköy Airport, Istanbul. When the plane stopped, Kemal stood up. "I hope you enjoy your stay in Istanbul," he said. "Here's my telephone number. If you need anything, call me. I live in Sicily. It's not far from the center of the city." "Thanks, Kemal. That's very kind of you." "Not at all," replied Kemal. "Nice to meet you, and now goodbye." Tom went through customs and immigration and walked towards the airport exit. Chapter 2: The American Bar. A bus for the city air terminal was waiting outside the airport. Tom got in and sat down beside the window. Other passengers got on and the bus left the airport and drove towards Istanbul. Soon they were driving past the houses and apartment blocks near the city. Then they passed the old city walls. Tom felt excited and looked at everything. He saw beautiful old mosques and street markets. The bus was now approaching the center of Istanbul. It stopped at some traffic lights. A car stopped beside the bus. The door opened and a woman got out. Two men were with her. Suddenly, Tom jumped to his feet. It was Angela. "Angela!" Tom shouted. "Angela! Here, it's me, Tom!" He knocked on the bus window. Suddenly the traffic lights changed and the bus moved towards. Tom ran to the back of the bus. Angela and the two men were going into a building. "Angela!" he shouted, and he stopped. It was too late. The bus was moving quickly down a wide street. The passengers were looking at Tom and he suddenly felt foolish. He walked back to his seat and sat down. What a surprise, he thought to himself. I must tell her when I see her this evening. Then the bus crossed Atatürk Bridge and Tom looked at the boats on the Golden Horn. Again he felt excited. The bus arrived at the air terminal at 3:45. There were some taxis waiting there. Tom went up to one. "The Park Hotel, Taksim Square, please," he told the driver. "English? You come with me, I take you quickly." At 4:15, the taxi arrived in the square. "Here you are, sir, the Park Hotel." "Thank you," said Tom and paid the driver. Tom went into the hotel. He found the American bar and sat down at a table on the terrace. A waiter came out. "A beer, please," said Tom. He sat in the afternoon sunshine and looked down over the city of Istanbul. The view was very beautiful. He was looking at the sea. The Bosphorus was full of ships. There were very big ships going to Russia and little sailing ships. In the distance, he could see the mosques and places of old Istanbul. How beautiful and how exciting! Tom looked at his watch. It was nearly 5 o'clock. He got up and walked up to the hotel entrance. There were lots of people going in and out of the hotel, but he didn't see Angela anywhere. He went back to the bar and ordered another beer. "Come on, Angela," Tom said to himself. "Don't be late." Just inside the American bar, a man in a gray raincoat was sitting at a table. He was drinking coffee and smoking cheap cigarettes. A newspaper lay open on the table in front of him, and from time to time he looked at it. But the man wasn't reading the newspaper. He was watching Tom. It was now 5:20. Tom sat in the evening sunshine. He looked at his watch again and waited. 5:30, 5:45. It was getting dark. He looked at the lights on the Bosphorus. Strange, thought Tom. Angela isn't usually late. Tom sat at the table on the terrace of the American bar, waiting for his fiancée. He waited and nobody came. And the man in the gray raincoat sat patiently inside the bar, smoking and watching Tom. "Another beer, sir?" asked the waiter. "No, bring me a black coffee, please. Have you a telephone?" "Yes, sir, inside." Tom went into the hotel. There was a telephone beside the reception. Tom dialed Angela's number. The phone rang and rang, but nobody answered it. He put the phone down and turned towards the reception desk. "Excuse me," he asked the receptionist. "Canon Sokak, do you know where it is?" "Yes, it's very near. Go out of the hotel entrance and turn right, walk along the street, and Canon Sokak is fourth on the right." "Thank you," said Tom. Tom went back to the bar. He drank his coffee and paid for his drinks. It was now after 8 o'clock. Tom picked up his suitcase and left the hotel. Inside the bar, the man in the gray raincoat stood up and picked up his newspaper. He put some money on the table and walked out into the street. He stood on the pavement for a moment or two, then started walking.